Hello everyone, Ron Johnson here from L.T.L Tutoring Central. And if you're looking for tips and strategies to help with your learning, you are in the right place. In this video, I'm discussing three little words that a lot of people don't like to say. I don't know. Now, I think probably all of us at one time or another did not want to admit not knowing something, especially something that we think we should know, but for some reason when we're asked the question, it's not coming to mind. We just don't know. But I want to point out a couple of very important facts. One is it is impossible for us to know everything. It's impossible for you to know everything. It's impossible for me to know everything. I really don't know everything. I have learned over the years that it's much better to say I don't know than it is to either pretend I know or wish I knew or hoped I know. It's just best to say I don't know. But the second point is that's not the end of learning. That's not the end of the conversation. Sometimes, even when I'm working with students, they'll say, I don't know, as if that's the end of it. That's the period at the end. No, I don't know is the beginning of learning, or it can be the beginning of learning. There's a couple of things you have to do. If you don't know something, you have to do a quick assessment. Is this something that I need to know? Or is this something that I want to know? If it's something you need to know, then yes, you definitely need to seek more information. Find some text, find some videos, find a podcast, find someone within the field maybe who understands that material. So you do have to go seeking for that information. If it's something you don't need to know, then you ask yourself, is this something that I want to know? I don't need it, but do I want it? And there again, if you answer, yes, I do want to know that. It's a very interesting topic and I want to know more about it. Then all you do is you begin researching. You start, just as I mentioned before, looking for information that you can use to teach yourself. Don't forget about my book, Teach Myself, Teach Myself. So you can check that, do a title search on Amazon. I'll also put a link below for the book about how to get those resources and how to teach yourself. If you answer no to both of those questions, no, I do not need to know this information, and no, I don't really want to know this information, it isn't interesting to me and it's not necessary, then move on. You don't need to know everything. You can't know everything. Nobody knows everything. And nobody remembers everything. There are lots of things that I knew at one point in time, but I've forgotten now. Now, a quick brush up usually brings that information back to you much more quickly than the first time you had to learn it. But it's true that we don't retain everything we learn. And as you get a little older, you'll discover that you've had many more years to learn things, but you've also had many more years to forget things. So that old expression, he's forgotten more than you'll ever know, can sometimes be partially true. But what I want to, I guess, impress upon you is that I don't know is not such a bad thing. It's just admitting that you don't know right now. That doesn't mean you can't know. It doesn't mean that it's something you wouldn't be able to do if you tried or if you put your mind to it. It doesn't mean that this is something that you won't be doing in the future and teaching others even, perhaps. It just means you don't know right now. And it's much better to say that because then you can learn something. Maybe the person you're talking to knows a little bit about the topic and can teach you. Or when you're talking to other people, you can learn that information. As I mentioned before, seek out that information from others or even just for yourself. As a student, or if you have children, allowing them to say they don't know or encouraging them to admit that they don't know is better than having them make something up. I've had students, yes, but I've also had adults my age saying something when it's obvious they don't know. I mean, the psychobabble or the word salad, I call it sometimes, can be quite impressive at times. But if you just take a little pin and prick that bubble, it disappears very quickly. The person obviously doesn't know what he or she is talking about. And that's even worse. Trying to cover up is even worse because then it's discovered that this person is a fraud. And then I don't know whether to believe anything that they have said through our entire conversation. So better to say I don't know, or this is how much I do know, but I don't really understand the full amount. There are lots of things every day we go through life not knowing. We use computers and electronics of all different kinds, other types of machines that we don't know how they work. We don't really know. We know how to use them. We know how to push the buttons and make it work, but we don't really fully understand everything about everything we use every day, and it wouldn't really be possible, or practical at least, for us to try to do so. So don't worry about not knowing. There are lots of things you do know, and then there are lots of things you don't know. And there's really nothing wrong. It's not a defeat if you don't know something. So I want you to get comfortable, more comfortable with saying, I don't know, and then taking it a step further, especially when you need it or want it, to learn more information, because I don't know can be a starting point to learning, a jumping off point to learning, not the end or the stop. All right, that's my little positive point for today, all about I don't know. And if you come across someone who does tend to pretend he knows when he doesn't really know, sort of gently try to lead toward the correct information or the right information, if you think it's worth it at that point in time. If it's especially if it's a young person, a child, or your student, try to lead them toward the correct information or toward learning more, because I have had students come back to me several weeks later sometimes and say, you know what I told you about before? Well, I didn't really know what I was talking about. And it's like, well, yeah, I kind of knew that, but and they've discovered and they've learned about it, and then we can sometimes learn together, because, as I say, I certainly don't know everything. There are lots and lots of things that I don't know. It's Ron Johnson from L.T.L Tutoring Central. What I do know is I'd like you to subscribe to the channel if you can. It will really help the algorithm. Like the video if you do. I hope you do. And click on the notification bell if you want to know when there are new videos. In the meantime, I want you to keep learning and keep having fun. It's Ron from L.T.L Tutoring Central, and until next time, bye-bye for now. A quick look at the subscribe button, the notification bell, of course the thumbs up for like if you like the video, and there's the website www.tutoringcentral.com, and email me at tutoringcentral@inbox.com.